Bhagavad Gita. This is like the most ancient book which speaks about this material world, but also about the spiritual world, about our nature as the soul, about our connection with the Supreme. So we are going to read from this book and have a little bit of discussion. This book was translated from Sanskrit to English by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. From Sanskrit to English, he spent many, many years and days to translate books of this amazing wisdom into English. And thanks to him, we have this opportunity now to read those books. So usually before we speak on the spiritual books, on Bhagavad Gita, we sing a prayer, which is called Jai Radha Madhava. So if you don't know the words, you can just close your eyes and meditate on it, because these words, they carry vibration, which is very healing and soothing. So you can just close your eyes and listen. And also we can take care of children, so they are also peaceful. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopindana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopindana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radha. Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So now we're just going to recite some glorification prayers to the previous teachers, to the holy places. So just whenever I say ki, you will say Jai. Jai means victory. So, Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarashyat Shishimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarashyat Shishimad, His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Goppa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki, Mayapur Dham Ki, Jagan Kshetra Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Yamuna Mai Ki, Tulsi Maharani Ki, Harinam Sankirtane Ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, before I start, I would like to seek the blessings of all assembled devotees and also those listening online, and hopefully, and I hope that I can speak according to the scriptures and for our benefit and purification. So today we're reading from chapter 3, verse 15. This chapter of Bhagavad Gita is entitled Karma Yoga. And so this chapter, Karma Yoga, does anyone know what this word karma means? Action, exactly. Very good. And yoga? Connection. So karma yoga, what could that mean? Yes, connecting with action, but to whom? Or to what? Yes, to Krishna, to God, to the Supreme. So, yes, this chapter speaks about how by our activities, by our everyday action, we can connect to the Supreme. How we can act in such a way that our actions are not binding us to this material world, that they are not we are not accumulating bad karma, but we are actually getting purified from our karma. So we will go more into it, but let's first recite the Sanskrit. So you can try to see this is the Sanskrit, this is the meaning of, actually this is the Sanskrit, the verse, how it was spoken by Krishna, who is speaking in Bhagavad Gita. It was actually Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavat means God, the Supreme, and Gita means the song. This is the song that was sung by God. So he sang it in Sanskrit, and we will try to recite it now together. It's actually very purifying to recite Sanskrit. So it doesn't matter whether we pronounce it perfectly, but it's very beneficial for all of us. So I will read one line, and if you could please try to repeat, and it's on the screens. Karma brahmodbhavam vidi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagne pratishtitam karma brahmodbhavam vidi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagne pratishtitam. Would anyone like to try to recite? Karma brahmodbhavam vidi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagne pratishtitam. Anyone else like to try? Anyone would like to have a go? Karanam brahmodbhavam vidi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagne pratishtitam. Very nice. Thank you. So now we will do word for word translation. Karma, work. Brahma, from the Vedas. Udbhavam, produced. Vidi, you should know. Brahma, the Vedas. Akshara, from the Supreme Brahman, personality of Godhead. Samudbhavam, directly manifested. Tasmat, therefore. Sarvagatam, all-pervading. Brahma, transcendence. Nityam, eternally. Yajna, in sacrifice. Pratishtitam, situated. Translation and purport. Actually, we'll just read translation for now. Translated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. So we will be going through the purport together. Before we do that, we will just recite some more prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvei Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll just read one more time the Sanskrit. Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yagne Pratishtitam. Alright, so we will go to the purport now. We'll just do little by little. So first, Srila Prabhupada explains here. Yajnartha karma, or the necessity of work for the satisfaction of Krishna only, is more expressly stated in this verse. If we have to work for the satisfaction of the Yajna Purusha, Vishnu, then we must find out the direction of work in Brahman or the transcendental Vedas. So, first, here we have the point is made. Srila Prabhupada is making the point that working for Krishna, which in this purport is described as Yajnartha karma, it is necessity. So, what is the necessity? Can you give some example of necessities that we have, some needs that we have? To breathe, yes, that's the basic need that we have. Anything else? Any other needs that we can't live without? Sleep, definitely. What else? Eating something, can be pizza. Yes. So these are the natural basic needs that we cannot live without. And here Srila Prabhupada is describing working for Krishna as another need. That means it's something it's very important for us. If our basic needs are not satisfied, like need for, you mentioned some really basic needs like sleep, food, air, breathing, that's things without, we cannot actually live, we will not survive. And they are very basic and physical needs, but there are also other more subtle needs. We have the need for relationships, for connection with others. These are things without which maybe we can live, but we will be quite unhappy, quite disturbed. So Srila Prabhupada is here saying that we also have that need to connect with the Lord and to work in this world in such a way that we can connect to Him. And that means that just like if we don't satisfy our needs, we are not happy, we are miserable. That means that in the same way, if we don't work in such a way, if we don't act in such a way in this world, that this action that we do in this world helps us to connect with the Lord, we will never be happy here. And we may think that, oh, I'm not happy because I don't have this house, or I don't have that car, or this relationship didn't work. But we all have experienced that even if we get that fancy car or big house, or even if we have very good relationship, we still don't feel satisfied. And how do we know it? Because we are still searching. We always want to try new things, new types of enjoyment. And this is because we're never satisfied. We're always looking for happiness. But we don't get that satisfaction. And why is it? Because we are maybe fulfilling the need to sleep, to eat, and we are fulfilling the need to breathe and maybe have shelter, have relationships with other people. But if this one link is missing, then nothing is working. Nothing brings us full satisfaction. And I can maybe say like interesting analogy, just like we have applications in our phone. But in order to use those applications, we need the internet connection. So in the same way, we may have different facilities around us, different things to do. But if we don't have that connection to the source of everything, even while doing those things that supposedly are meant to bring us happiness, we will not feel satisfied because that connection is missing. We will not be able to get the full satisfaction in life. And unfortunately, most of us will live in this world and we don't recognize that we have that need. And because of that, we are not happy, we're not satisfied. And even if we understand that we have that need to connect with the Lord, then how do we know how to do it? So here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada says that we need to study the Vedas. The Vedas are the oldest scriptures in the world that were, it is described here, that they are coming from the Lord. They are direct manifestation from the Lord. So that means whatever is said in the Vedas is the instruction that comes directly from Krishna. And that's why whatever is said there in the Vedas will help us to connect with Him, will help us to develop connection with Him. And if we follow those injunctions of the Vedas, we will be able to actually please the Lord and we will be able to be happy. Have you heard, does everyone know, of course, has everyone heard about the word of karma? Karma, yes? Everyone heard of this word? How would you describe the meaning of karma in a simple way? What is karma? We already said it's action. But would you like to say anything else about karma? Anyone? Different types of karma. Yes, there are different types of karma. There is good karma. When we do something good comes to us. When we do something bad will happen to us. So when we follow the Vedas, then we are actually protecting ourselves from committing sinful activities, from doing akarma. That means action which is not good for us. The Vedas can be compared to a state law. Just like we live in this country, and there are certain rules. For example, there are rules concerning the speed limit on the roads, right? There is a speed limit on the roads. And if we speed up, then we will get a ticket. Naturally, that will be the result of our activities. And in the same way, if we don't follow the Vedas, we will get some reactions because we will be committing sinful activities. But also, the Vedas describe something which is called akarma. And akarma means no karma, no accumulation of karmic reactions. So let's go a little bit more into this. So moving on with the purport. Yes, regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. That means that if we follow the Vedas, then it's a sacrifice, because the Vedas suggest to us that we act in a way, not whimsically, but in a more regulated way. The Vedas don't prohibit that we live happily. Rather, they give us injunctions how we can really live happily. But that will mean that we will need to take some austerity, meaning I'm not just not doing whatever I want, but there is some austerity. Example could be with eating. The Vedas prescribe that we should eat vegetarian food, and also we should offer it to the Lord, because if we whatever we eat actually becomes, we will take some reactions from that, because in that process of eating, even if it's vegetarian, there is some karma involved. We'll have to even cause some harm to some living entities. But if we offer it to Krishna with love and devotion, then all that karma will be gone, and we will not accumulate any karma. So that's one example of sacrifice. And do you know what is the best sacrifice for this age in which we live? The Kali Yuga age that we live in. What is the best sacrifice for this age? Anyone knows? Chanting, yes. Chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is actually the sacrifice for this age. And Krishna is saying that he is actually the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. And actually Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, of austerities I am japa. So japa means when we chant on our beats Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is a meditation. There are different types of meditation, but for this time in which we live, it's called Kali Yuga. That means the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And we can see it all around us. There is so much war going on, so much hypocrisy, so much, all sorts of nonsense. And it's hard for us to sit down and just not think of anything and just meditate, focus on our breath, or don't think about anything. That's why for this age that we live in, the best process recommended is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's given to us by Lord Chaitanya, and it says that by this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we will be free from all our sinful reactions, and we will be able to achieve the goal of our life, which is go back to where we belong, because the Vedas also teach us that we are not this body, that this body is just one of many, but we are the soul that travels from one body to another. And that soul is part and parcel of God, of Krishna. And that soul can never be happy here in this material world. Just like the fish, when it's out of water, cannot be happy. In the same way, we as the soul, we cannot be happy no matter what kind of beautiful body we get, what kind of beautiful house. Just like the fish cannot be happy outside of water, we as the soul cannot be happy when we are separated from our source of existence, from our real home, that is spiritual world, that is when we are close to Krishna. So that's basically the reason of our unhappiness in this world. And in the same way, at the same time, we understand that the reason to be happy is to reconnect with Krishna, and to, even though still in this material world, we can engage in devotional service, and we can start acting as a soul, start satisfying that need that we have, the need of the soul that is connected to Lord. That's what we started with. We started with saying that it's the need that we have to act for Krishna, to connect to Krishna through our activities. So unless we satisfy that need, we can never be happy. But as soon as we work on satisfying that need, we will see that we will start experiencing satisfaction in life. Okay, so we'll just read on. The Vedas are therefore codes of working directions. Anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called vikarma. That we said, that if we do whatever we like, we will get some bad reaction. Just like if we don't care about the state law, we will have to pay tickets, for example, for speeding up. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. Vedas are actually very vast, but we are so lucky that we have Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of the Vedas. And just by reading Bhagavad Gita, we will understand everything about the Vedas. Because the Vedas, the main message of the Vedas is surrender to Krishna, leave everything behind and just surrender to Krishna and develop your love for Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita gives us very, like in a pill, the essence of all the Vedas and the path, how to follow the Vedic injunctions. As one has to work in ordinary life by the direction of the state, one similarly has to work under direction of the supreme state of the Lord. Yes, so whether we want it or not, we have to follow the rules, just like we said that, right? If we don't follow the rules, we'll be in trouble. Of course, we can rebel, but sooner or later we will end up in trouble in this world. And in the same way, if we don't follow what the Lord wants from us, how He wants us to behave, we can never be happy. And we will never be satisfied and peaceful. Because we think that we're independent. We think that I can just do whatever I want, and I will be happy. Our motive is always to be happy. We all want to be happy. But gradually, as we take to the process of devotional service to Krishna, Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Gorentai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. We start to understand that the real happiness comes from doing what Krishna wants us to do, surrendering to Him, surrendering to the process. Then we are happy. Just like, for example, if there is a perfect parent, very good parent, and really wants good for the child, and is giving all directions to the child to behave in such a way that the child will be happy. For example, telling them how to study, how to eat healthy. And if the child is following, the child will be happy, will grow as a very strong, physically strong, also well-educated, responsible person. Because maybe at that moment it feels like, oh yeah, if I can just skip school and eat ice cream all day, this is amazing. This is a great life. But we all know that you cannot live like that, and you will regret it later. In 10 years' time, you look back and realize that I wasted so much time in my life, and who am I now? I didn't get education. My whole health is ruined. So, in the same way, Krishna is our best friend. He is our best well-wisher. And he is telling us what to do and how to live in Bhagavad Gita. So he is telling us this not to make us miserable. He is telling us this to make us happy, to help us to live such a life that we will not regret. We will not look back and say that I wasted my life. He is actually giving us such a process, such instructions that at the end of our life, we will not say, oh no, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I wish I have done this, have done that. No, at the end of our life, if we follow those instructions of Bhagavad Gita, we will feel satisfied, we will feel that, wow, I have made the best use of my life, of my time, because I worked on developing my connection with the Lord, which is the only eternal connection that I have, which is the only eternal thing that, is there. Otherwise, everything else around us is temporary. All other relationships are temporary. And of course, they are important. Doesn't mean they are not important. But if at the same time we are not developing our relationship with Krishna as a basis of our oral relationships, then at the end of our life, we will be very much attached still to this world. And we will have to be back again, we will have to be born again. So that's why it's so important to follow the Bhagavad Gita. Such directions in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said, Asya Mahata Bhutasya Nishvasitam etat yak Rig Vedo Yajur Vedo Samaveda Tarvan Girasa. The four Vedas, namely the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda, are all emanations from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brihad and Aranyaka Upanishad. The Lord, being omnipotent, can speak by breathing air, for as it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, the Lord has the omnipotence to perform through each of his senses the actions of all other senses. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing, and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over material nature and thus fathered all living entities. After creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead. Yes, from this we learn that Krishna is the source of everything, that he is the Father, he is the seed-giving Father, he says in Bhagavad Gita. He is the source of everything and everyone existing. And at the same time, so he's saying here that he creates this material world, he impregnates this material world with the living entities, because that's our desire. Like we already said, that originally we are the spirit soul. That's our real identity, and our real home is the spiritual world. But due to our desire to enjoy independent of God, to be like God, Krishna responded to our desire and created this material world, because Krishna never forces us to do anything. He gives us all instructions, all teachings, but then he says, now you do whatever you like. You have all the knowledge, but ultimately it's up to you. I won't force you to do anything, because this this is all about love. This is about love between us and God. And nobody can be forced to love. Only if we want to develop that loving relationship with God can we do it. But He gives us a process how to do it, how to develop love. Love is not something that happens like that within a second. Actually, real love is something that we work on, that we work by serving the other person. And that's why also in Bhagavad Gita, this process is described of developing our love for Krishna by serving Him, by doing what He likes. Just like, if we want to develop friendship with another person, then we have to get to know them. We have to understand what they like, what they don't like, and then we have to do what they like. If we do what they don't like, then they will not feel like having a relationship with us. But if we do our best to please them, then they will also want to be our friend. So in the same way with Krishna, if we want to develop that loving relationship with Krishna, we need to get to know Him. And how do we get to know Him? Because we cannot see Him, we are not qualified to see Him. So we can try to get to know Him by just sometimes we cannot access the person we would like to know, but maybe we can access the person who knows that person. So in the same way for us, maybe we cannot speak to Krishna directly, but we can access Him through His pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. And that's why Srila Prabhupada's books are so precious, because he is very dear and pure devotee of Krishna, and he knows Krishna, and that's why he can tell us about Krishna. So by studying his books, we will also get to know Krishna. And by getting to know Krishna, we will understand what Krishna wants us to do, what He doesn't want us to do. And if we act accordingly, Krishna will be pleased and our relationship will develop. And Krishna we are all very dear to Him. And like we said, He gives us free will. So He creates this material world for us to play. And He says, okay, try to live in this material world and see if you're happy. And I can tell you a nice analogy. It's just like when the father brings the child to the playground and is telling the child, okay, now you play, I will just sit here on the bench and observe you. And then the child gets so absorbed in playing that he completely forgets the father. It's just playing all day long and completely forgets the father. And then at some point it starts to get dark and cold. And then the child remembers, oh, where is my father? And the father is just sitting there waiting for the child to come to him. And when the child is ready, then he gives his hand and say, okay, I will take you home now. So in the same way, Krishna is allowing us to play here in this material world. But as soon as we realize, actually, it's not such a nice place. Actually, it's a dark place. Actually, there is a lot of suffering here. And I actually want to go home now. And as soon as we have that desire to go home, back to Godhead, then Krishna is ready there. His hand is always there. And we just have to hold that hand, and then He will take us back. Okay. So carrying on with the purport. We should always remember that the conditioned souls in the material world are all eager for material enjoyment. But the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so-called enjoyment. It is a chance for the conditioned souls to attain liberation. Therefore, the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yagya by becoming Krishna conscious. Even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yagyas or karmas. Yeah, so naturally, it's we are all seeking pleasure and enjoyment. This is very natural for us. And that's why the Vedas allow us to enjoy, to have a happy life. Why not? Actually, that's when we can have happy life, if we follow the Vedas. But the only condition is to enjoy in this world in connection to Krishna. And there are very simple ways to do it. And that's what this whole chapter and this verse is all about. And the best way to describe this by one verse, which says, Yat karoshi yat ashnasi, yat yuhoshi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva mat arpanam. So in this verse, Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do this, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So Krishna says that we all have to work in this world. Everyone has to do some kind of work. Maybe it's a study. Someone is studying, someone is working to make money, someone is taking care of children. Everyone has some duty to do in this world. But while during our duty, we can remember that actually I'm not doing it for myself. I am doing it for Krishna, to please Krishna. These children are not my children. They are servants of God. So how can I help them to remember Krishna? How can I help them to come closer to Krishna? Because that's what Krishna wants me to do. He allowed me to become a parent so that I can help those children to come back to them, because they are Krishna's children. They are not my children. I'm just taking care of them for the time being. But ultimately they belong to Krishna. And this body also belongs to Krishna. It's not mine. So how can I use this body in such a way that I can serve the Lord? And everyone has different talents. Someone maybe is a cook. So we can cook for Krishna. Krishna is happy to accept our offerings. Of course, they should be vegetarian. They should be prepared in a clean way. And we can offer it to Krishna. If we cooked in a clean way and vegetarian, we can have the offering offered to Krishna. Say thank you to Krishna. Before we eat, we offer it to him and say thank you. We can chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times and just remember that everything that we have comes from Krishna. And everyone likes eating, so in this way you can spiritualize our process of eating. And we also, actually this is A, B, C, D of this process of connecting to Krishna. So A stands for association, so we need to be around people who also want to help themselves, to become more happy, to become more connected with God. So that's why we need to come here to the temple. That's the best place to have good association, because we all here came here to see Krishna, to talk about Krishna, to become more spiritual, to come closer to our real nature. So it's very important to be around those people, because as they say, the birds of the same feather flock together. And then we have B. We have B for books. It's very important to read books, like we already said. Srila Prabhupada's books, so important. Every day we can sit with our family and read even 2 verses. If every day you read 2 verses, you will finish Bhagavad Gita in 1 year. So you can all do it with your family. Isn't it? Is it a good idea? Yes? Very good. So you can now make that commitment that every day we will sit together and we will read 2 verses. And what else you can do? Yes, the next letter is C. C stands for chanting. So we can read together 2 verses and we can also chant together. We can sing together Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And it's so much fun. We can all clap and dance. You know, it's a joyful activity. And you will feel uplifted after the day of work. You will feel uplifted. And it will help you to make spiritual progress at the same time. And it will help you to connect with your family, your friends. So that can be another practice that you can do. and D stands for diet. So that we already said, that we can all start doing this. Even if I buy something in the shop, a piece of fruit, I can say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And remember that this apple comes from Krishna, and that let me offer it to him in love and devotion before I have it. Because we know that actually even the greatest scientists cannot produce a seed. Right? No scientist has ever produced a seed. The only person who can create the seed is God. And that's something really wonderful and amazing. And we should always remember that He is the source of everything. So this is a simple process, a simple method that we all can follow for upliftment, for elevation. And it's a serious business. It's a serious thing because, let's be honest, none of us is satisfied in this material world unless we create that connection with the Lord. None of us is fully happy here. And it's a natural thing. You're not alone. It's just because we don't belong here. So now let's try to find a way back to where we belong. And we've just given a simple process of connecting with the Lord. A simple process. A was for, what was A for? Association, yes. B? Books, very good. You're listening attentively. C? Chanting. And D? Diet, exactly. Yes, very well. So now we got it, and now we just have to put it in practice, and you will see that your life will become more happy, more peaceful, more joyful. So thank you so much for listening. Are there any questions? Maybe we can stop the Mridanga for now, because we're still speaking. We can do it when the kirtan starts. So are there any questions? Anyone would like to ask something or say a comment, share something, whatever you like? Please don't be shy. This is the place where we can discuss and open our hearts. And if there are any doubts, you can share. Okay. If there are no questions, then we will just do 2 minutes of kirtan, and then we will get ready for arati. Okay. Thank you very much. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone together. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So now we're going to set up for Arati. Thank you so much everyone for your attendance and attention. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Jai.